Another native nightshade is called buffalo burr. This plant is also toxic to livestock, but this plant is so covered in prickles, there's rarely any animals that are going to try to consume it. This plant has lobed leaves that are also very wavy along the edges of them. This plant stays kind of a darker green color. The flowers on this one, the petals are yellow as well as the anthers or the male parts on this plant. The fruit on buffalo burr is what really gives it its name. There is a covering around each berry that is covered in prickles. And you'll notice the prickles on both the fruit, on the stems of the plant, and also along the leaves, especially on the bottom of the leaf. And it's not exactly the most fun to hold this plant. Buffalo burr is an annual, it's also a native, and so we don't always control this plant. There aren't a lot of wildlife species that have been identified as using this plant. We do know that some pollinators are using the flowers. If we have a lot of this plant, it might be an indicator that we've had heavy grazing in a certain area. So we want to try to back off on grazing or maybe change up the distribution of our grazing to allow other plants to take over those areas. We want to try to think about the management that we can do before we just always control this plant. When we're thinking about control, we can mow repeatedly, very short, to control this plant. If we want to do a spot treatment with a glyphosate herbicide, we can do that. 2,4-D also controls this plant really readily when it's small. And with this plant, we need to go ahead and use a surfactant. If the plant has gotten a little bit bigger, we can use something that has picloram and 2,4-D together to help control it as it's gotten a little bit more mature.